Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's the radioactive Poppy Danny Limelight, United Wrestling Network World Heavyweight Champion. And make sure you tune into the Alliance blog every week. You heard it here first. Straight from Poppy.
This could be the greatest night of our lives.
Are you?
And then there's the other guys. Welcome.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. And what can we tell you? It is the 1-year anniversary of the Other Alliance guys, a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com, your number one source for news and information around the National Wrestling Alliance. Number one, the United Wrestling Network, and various independents around the world. I am joined by the greatest tag team in podcasting today. Oh, no. The Other Alliance guys themselves. It's Dave, Scooby. It's Jeremy. How are you guys doing?
Doing good.
Doing good. Can't believe it's been a year already.
Yeah, man. It's so crazy. It flew by. I've had such a good time. How was your Independence Day, your 4th of July's?
Uneventful.
Well, that's good.
Didn't let off any fireworks. Hung out with the wife and just watch TV.
Well, that's quiet. That's good. That's the way to do it. Dave, you went out to see. You just told me again what they were called. The Legends
Never Die. It was a battleground championship wrestling at the old ECW arena. 2300 arena.
Yeah,
it was very eventful.
Great. Well, I mean, you had Matt Cardona, you had Bully Ray, PCO, Lance Archer, a 76-year-old sheep herder.
Yep. Yeah. Sheep herder. Snitsky was there, and everybody was chanting "Punt the baby" and. What goes around comes around. So I mean, he had a little baby doll with him, and in the crowd. So.
Oh wow!
Oh man! But you like the show most.
Oh yeah. Always, whether the show is good or bad, I just like being around other people that like wrestling, and it's fun to be able to go into a show and. No matter what age you are, just lose yourself in the show and just be like, well, ideally this would happen, or these guys can't do this. No, just let it go. It's fun time. Just experience it and enjoy it for what it is.
Yeah. Yep. Well said, man. Like we're going to 75, whenever that is, the end of August. And like, I have no desire to like tweet what's happening or what I think is going to happen. Man, I'm just going to sit there and I'm just, who's doing what? That's amazing. Did you know? Have you seen the match, Dave, that you went to when for Crockett Cup? The point when Thrillbilly boots Pollo in the face and knocks her off onto the floor,
over to the stairwell. Yeah.
When he steps over her, my wife goes, "Look at Dave," and you're like,
I know. I'm just like, wow. And I mean, if you go back and watch it, it's one of these things that everybody was exiting it from my seat. Everybody was exiting to the right.
Yeah.
But as he's walking, if you watch it, you see Kyle walk by him, and he's like, walk over her.
Yeah, it's what the Reluchador said too. She's like, she just told him to walk over him.
and I mean, it's one of those things that it was. I don't know if the split up was spur of the moment, but it really, I mean, it added to what happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was just great. It was a great example of like enjoying the moment, and it was good. But yeah, man, we have been out at this for a year, guys. We've been doing UWN and NWA USA recaps and fantasy booking. and a bunch of other things in between that we tried out, and some we dropped and some we kept going. And it's been so fun for me, especially. And I know we're going to thank everybody as we go along, but thank you two guys, man. This is something that, I said to Jay just over a year ago, I'd really like to do this. What do you think if I asked these guys? And he was like, these are the guys to ask, right? And it just worked out so really well for us. So I really appreciate you guys joining me in this thing.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate you asking.
Let's see to the other people we appreciate. The flag bearer of the other Alliance guys, if you will. Newsflash: Tyrus has lost his hot dog eating heavyweight championship. Apparently, he tells us down below that he lost it to Joey Chestnut. I mean, that's fair.
He didn't defend it though because he was renting his fat ass out as a fireworks bar.
Oh man, Money Mike is here. Yeah, well, that's who we'll have to ask if we want to know where it is precisely that he lost it. Steve G's here. Only thing he wants to see Tyrus lose is his championship.
Yep.
Well, I think we're all have been there for a while, and I think as I get ready to leave the Great White North end of next month, and head down to St. Louis. That's all what we're all hoping for at that time. Whether that's EC3 or Chris Adonis or anyone else in between, I think it's time. But Lamb is here. Look at this handsome fellow right here, guys. I'm a Lamb son, man, right there. Look at that. Thank you very much for the congratulations. We certainly appreciate it. I am not Hunter Biden. I do not look like Hunter Biden. I have recently been told this, but I have more hair than Hunter Biden. That's all I can say, and less criminal prosecutions.
Yeah,
but that number is never zero. Hey, Dave Lamb says you saw Cardona go through that flaming table, so you had some fun.
Yeah, it was insane, and they actually did the gimmick of the match was loser can never come back to the ECW 2300 arena.
Ooh.
So I'm not sure what's going to happen. I mean, I'm sure there's other places that Cardona can wrestle, but I mean, it was like one and done. Let's get this over with. Let's give them what they want. Let's do the old ECW flaming table thing. And then Bully got on the mic and he's like, "Come on, Cardona, you're out." And he walked him to the front door, threw him out the front door, and they had camera guys following them. And he's literally out on Swanson. There's people out there stopping cars. And I mean, he's going to the end of the road, end of the arena. And he's like, "Man, I'm out of here. I hate this town." And I'm like,
wow.
Okay. So who knows? But it was pretty intense.
I think Tim froze on us.
Did Tim freeze?
Yep. So let's see here. Tim was going to talk about Kamille not losing the title. How no one should ever beat Kamille. That's interesting. What do you think about that?
I feel, I mean, you'd have to bring somebody in that has some pretty big shoes, because that person would have to, in defeating Kamille, that'd be something that hasn't been done.
Yeah.
So it's one of these things of the only way Kamille should end up not being champion is by injury, quote unquote, whether it be real or fake. I'd hope it wouldn't be real. That it's one of these things that sometimes you just need to take a break.
Yeah.
And in doing a fake injury, she doesn't lose the title. She relinquishes the title.
Right.
That no one ever beat her for it. She defeated herself by being injured and not being able to defend the title. So that's one of those things that if the story goes, it should be an injury angle so she can come back and get the title she never lost.
Yeah.
And I mean, same thing. I mean, Jazz did the same thing. Now, Jazz doesn't wrestle, but if Jazz could go find somebody to take her place, basically, that Jazz could be a new manager for somebody coming in and have them go after the title that she never lost.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's one of those things that you have two great wrestlers, and I don't think anybody really looks at Jazz and goes, oh, she was a bad champion. No, it's just it was a situation that happened, and she had to give up the title. She was never defeated for the title. Same thing with Kamille. And I mean, Tim, we're talking about, you had mentioned about Kamille. Well, what should happen with Kamille, that no one should ever beat her. And I myself agree that if she does lose the title, it should be by an injury angle.
Yeah.
Well, that's a great segue, and I can't get back in on my laptop right now anyway. You guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, finally. But yeah, that's sort of my pitch, and I'll tell you guys why. When I first started thinking about Kamille as champion, like, who's the greatest champion in the Lightning One era? Kind of where I started. And without a doubt, it's Kamille. Her length of time, I looked it up today. I tweeted about it this afternoon. She was kind enough to retweet me. But as of tomorrow, Kamille ties June Byers as 5th on the all-time list of champions in terms of total days spent as champion. She passes her the day after, obviously. And, we've been talking for a while about who would be the appropriate people to get into the studio now. There we go. Wow, it's a professional podcast.
We are professionals.
We are professionals, as the thumbnail says.
Yep.
Sincerely sorry, I got the boot there. What was I saying? Yeah, so I looked her up. She's going to be 5th day after tomorrow on the all-time list of champions. And she does this with one reign. The only other person who has done that and come into the top 5 with one reign is the Fighting Phenom, Jazz. So looking at the list of the people we've talked about who could beat Kamille, we've talked about Lindsay Snow, and we don't think that she's coming.
Yeah.
We've talked about names that have been thrown out have been like Jordan Grace, or is Nia Jax somewhere free now, right? Someone had said in the Discord, what if Mercedes Martinez were to come around? Is she a big enough name? Is there enough heat around that? Like, she's been through everybody else in the NWA right now. Mm-hmm. None of those names especially grabbed me. The only one that really kind of grabbed me as a potential, like, real threat to the crown right now would be Tessa Blanchard. Mm-hmm. And maybe there's a world where Tessa Blanchard walks out on the TV tapings and goes nose to nose with the Brick House. And that's a great story if Tessa Blanchard kind of rehabs her career, however it might be that Kamille might lose that title finally. But
yeah,
wouldn't it be a better story if it just kept going? So if you look at some of the great things that are happening in wrestling right now, I don't watch WWE, but I follow the storylines.
right.
And from a story perspective, guys, the Bloodline is the most popular thing they've probably done, they've been saying, in 10 years or more. And it's gone on forever. Roman Reigns has a very long reign right now as champion. We all thought, well, it's Cody's time, it's Cody's story to be told. It's not. We've had Rob Van Dam in the days of ECW, where you just were, Dave. He went like over 700 days as champion. Ric Flair and Harley Race had 800 and 900 day reigns, like real throwback stuff for the NWA. Hulk Hogan was champion for 1,400 days at one point, right? And if you go even further back to, we are in the NWA, the home of history and legacy. You can go back to Bob Backlund, well over 2,000 days, Lou Thez as well. Vern Gagne, I don't know, really especially counts. He started his own company away from he broke away from the NWA because they wouldn't make him NWA champion. But Bruno Sammartino's like 2,800 days, and even if you looked at Moolah, whose name doesn't really hold the same shine or reverence that it did at one point because of what may or may not have happened. I don't know. But she held that title for 27 years. That's like 9,800 days or something like it. So wouldn't the better story just be if there aren't names that are good enough to topple Kamille? And, Willie's thrown up. What about Jessica Havoc? What about Cassandra Golden? Sure. These are names that can give her good matches.
Yeah.
But they're not. I think the better story is in having her continue, like Roman continues, like Hogan continues. And wouldn't it be better for the NWA, who at this point have to recognize that there's a reason she should anchor every single pay-per-view they have, because she has the best matches. Just keep that streak going. What if Tessa came down, we all bought tickets, and Tessa didn't win? Tessa still revamps her career a little. Maybe she shake hands with the Brick House at the end. For what Kamille has brought to the NWA, for what that story can bring by her continued reign, and without a challenger available right now, with the exception maybe of Tessa, depending on who your, what your thoughts on that are. I think that there's a case to be made that until that right person walks down the aisle, and I'm not talking a 7-day reign to give Harley Race a rest, or Ric Flair dumping it for a few months so he can go home and spend some time with his kids and then win it back for another 400 days, right?
Yeah.
Until there's someone who can really give her that credible challenge, why not just let her keep it? It's better for the NWA. It's better for her. It's better for the story. What do you guys think? What do you think, Jeremy?
In a time where we're starting to see longer reigns happen again in wrestling, because there for a while it seemed like every couple of months or so titles would change hands, and we're starting to see these longer reigns, and it does make for a better storyline in the end and in the long run, because you have this immovable indestructible force that can't be beaten. And when they are finally beaten, that's the money shot right there.
Right.
You know, you take a year and a half, 2 year plus long reign, and then you slowly over time build somebody up.
Mm-hmm.
And then they finally come along and they take that person down. That always blows the roof off of a place. And the longer the time frame, the better the pop.
Yeah, I agree. And really, I think that's where I'm coming from. I think you can go too long. Like, I don't know that we'll ever see a San Martino-esque reign because of the way media is consumed and how champions need to appear at certain times. And on television, the way it's all changed everything. But I agree that it makes the blow off a lot better when it finally does happen. What do you think, Dave?
I think a long-term storyline like this is good to build character. It's not only Kamille. Anybody that goes up against Kamille. Look where Natalia Markova was. How she's upped her value by being in a few matches with Kamille.
Yeah.
That anybody that has gone up against Kamille has raised their own stock. And like I said, the only way to really get Kamille away from the belt would be a injury angle. And I could actually look at like Pretty Empowered. They have the frustration of almost they're a female version of the Four Horsemen going after Dusty, who in this place would be Kamille.
Yeah.
The only way Kamille loses the title or has to give the title back because it can't be defended would be, something happened out in the parking lot and Kamille got taken away to the local hospital.
They pile drive on the hood of a car, as I remember Horseman doing.
that I mean, if things worked in the past, retell them, because there's people that'll as soon as they see something happen, they'll go ding ding ding. I remember that was so and so back in Florida, and the newer people that have really no concept of the history that goes on with the NWA, they'll be like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened.
Right. And you look at those legendary moments, they stick in your head.
Yep.
I mean, I just watched the Sheik documentary. I've never seen it before, but I was scrolling past it. I was home alone. I thought, I'll watch that. And the moment when and I've seen the moment before when Arnold Scullin throws in the towel to save Bob Backlund from the camel clutch. Backlund's passed out. His neck is hurt. And, he's out. And he doesn't really lose it like the way you're saying, Dave. Someone else throws in the towel, he's injured, whatever. But what I remember about that moment is the crowd. The crowd is unbelievably silent. They are just, you could build up one of those things here.
Yeah.
With Kamille. How hard would you pop, guys, if somebody came out, Tessa Blanchard, somebody came out with a Kamille Sucks Eggs t-shirt? I would laugh. I would just, nice throwback to the past.
Yeah.
Let's see what these wonderful people in the chat have to say. I will go back a little further, but just to stay on topic. I don't care the gender, Mike says. Kamille has been a more dominant, prominent NWA champion for any champion for that matter for whom she fought or length of title held. That's a ringing endorsement. Willie says Kamille, Kerry Morton, and La Rebellion have I think he means defended their titles more than that
Yes.
Bill Barry Joe's Boy Tyrus. Sure have.
Yes.
Last time I checked, guys, I think Kerry Morton was up to like 63 title defenses or something.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yep.
And he's got, another dozen in the pipeline in the next month, roughly?
Yeah. Yeah, he's coming up here at some point soon. Let me see here. Mike says, I feel Martinez would be good and known opponent for Kamille. I feel the NWA fans would know who Martinez is. Unless you Tessa Blanchard, yes. Yes, Tim. Yeah, Willie pointed out Jessica Havoc and Cassandra Golden could give good matches, but I just don't think they're the right people to take that title. I don't think that person necessarily exists right now. I'm not saying they won't, but I'm saying, until they do, and why not just keep it going? Roman's championship, as we're comparing it to, has some serious issues, but of course you can have a long run when you defend it like 3 times a year. Sure.
Yeah.
Well, he says you can't leave out Harley Race, NWA World Heavyweight Champion title race. I mentioned them. I think Harley had a 900-day reign or 800, one of the two. Lou Thez is over that. So the Reluchador, who is home from the hospital, we love you, baby. And who had something similar, by the way, to Mike, who's talking about his stuff in the chat. Glad you're with us, Mike. Glad you pulled through, man. It's good to have you here and happy and healthy. She's back home as well. So Kamille heads every pay-per-view. She's always the thing to look forward to. She makes every pay-per-view she's in. Have her wrestle opponents that make her look good to show off her talent and athletic ability. Willie, Kamille is more of a consistent NWA Women's Champion than Tyrus, holding and defending the town pounds of gold. The boss says Kamille is good for the NWA, not only in the other boss, that is, not the Giants boss, not only in watching her wrestle, but for widening the audience. Young girls watching someone like Kamille who looks like a woman, curves and muscles, is healthy. Showgain TV. Hey, it's Isa. Awesome. Isa, it's been a while.
Hey,
Thanks for popping in. Is there a rumor Kamille is leaving or something? There is not. Pro wrestling title history, by the way, if you're looking for the most comprehensive list of wrestling title lineage anywhere on the net, there is no rumor that she's leaving. I just got the idea as Kamille rolls into the 5th spot all time. He's that perhaps in the absence of a challenger who could really make the blow off great, leave it on her and let her continue to dominate and headline the NWA as the shining star that she is. Lucas says she's also active and outspoken on social media about her efforts, and she's relatable as a human being, so people want to root for her. I know I do.
Yep.
Jay is here. I agree. I mean, she loves her Kamille, and I mean, it's, I don't get into it too much because we talk wrestling here, whether it's male or female, but women's wrestling is not my favorite. Kamille always has my favorite matches in the NWA. And I think that says something. Kamille, Steve G says it's a very good champion, defends her title at most pay-per-views. Long title runs are good as long as your champion defends the title at most pay-per-views.
Yeah.
Willie, I agree. Willie says, what about Santana Garrett? I don't know where Santana is now. Do you guys know?
No, but I can.
I'm not sure if she's still active, but I mean, if she is, a match with her, if Kamille defeats a former champion, it just raises her stock. But I think, I mean, what I would do, I always look at the fantasy booking edge of things. Either bring in a couple outsiders or make the current girls that are on the roster have a tournament for the next contender, for the next challenger. So it ruffles some feathers amongst Pretty Empowered that, hey, we're friends, but going after the Burke is something any female wrestler would love to do.
Did you find her, Jeremy?
Yeah, she's a coach at the Performance Center now, WWE.
All right, she's coaching there. Well, there you go. Yeah, cage match. Hisa says there's no match involving Santana for this year.
Yeah.
So now we know. But yeah, once again, Mike and Raluca both kicking out at 2. Shoulder up at the last minute, Mike. Good for you, man. So I'm glad to see a lot of support for Kamille out there, and again, I think she's earned it, and I think she's the reason. She's a lot of the reason. I know that my wife continues to watch, and a good portion of, Mrs. Latimer is a good portion of the reason that I still enjoy watching the main events in the NWA. But that's what I wanted to get into. I tapped out myself at the first when the internet went down here. We got some wonky weather up here. It's so hot and it's raining, and we're still going to talk about UWN matches. You got the best of 2 this week, I imagine, Jeremy, with Derby City down for the count. Dave, you got that fantasy booking about whether or not the NWA ought to have a monthly recap show to kind of keep us all in the loop, which I think is an interesting idea. And we were going to talk, I was just saying to the boys before the show, we were going to talk about reviewing the HP Cares for Cooper card, which is not a pay-per-view, it's a live show. But we did that last week. And, we could talk about the Australia matches that went on this week, but I kind of feel that it's old news right now. Like, everyone got excited, guys, that we went down to Australia. But I think it's kind of worn its off at this point, and, doling out the matches to kind of make it last longer sort of makes my desire to cover some of those matches a little weaker too.
Yeah.
So I thought we talk about Kamille, and we know what, let's talk about, because I know it's coming up. We got the TV taping. Let's just real quick, just to remind everyone about it. Let's go through what's happening on July 8th, right? This weekend. HP Cares for Cooper, Highland Park. Obviously, all the proceeds going to the family of Cooper Roberts, who was wounded. His brother was too in that tragedy a couple of years ago now, I think, actually. I think it almost was 2 years ago. So in that, we've got Gags the Gimp versus Psycho Boy Fodder and Eric Jackson to open the show, I believe. I think there's about 8 matches. Angelina Love versus Ruthie J, which might be a better match than we think. Country Gentlemen versus the Savages for the NWA US Tag Team titles. Jake Dumas versus Robert Anthony. That's something maybe we'll talk about in a sec, eh? Tom Latimer versus Jade Radley for the TV title. That seems a bit of a one-off. Knox and Murdoch versus Daisy Kill and Talos. EC3 versus Jordan Clearwater for the national championship. That should be a fun match. And look who's headlining. The Brick House, Kamille, defending the NWA World Women's Championship again, one more time against Natalia Markova. I mean, it's a nice event for the hometown crowd for Mr. Corgan. What do you think about this, Dave? Mr. Robert Anthony making his, I'm going to use air quotes here, debut in the NWA. Excited for that?
Yes and no, depending on what direction they go with him.
Yeah.
And it's one of those, if you know, you know. He is a Chicago-based wrestler. He's brought several people into the NWA and gotten them signed. I think he is a good wrestler. He does well at what he does. It depends on storyline-wise where they decide to go. And it's one of those things that if you know, you know.
Right. Yeah. There's TV tapings, of course, right?
Yeah.
Right afterwards.
So we'll just see what happens. I'm hoping I get a few results from some people that I've talked to that will be there, and I'd love to go, but I mean that's a 10-hour drive for me, and for a day of taping and then back to work, it's not really worth it.
Yeah.
Now, you brought up an interesting point that there's TV tapings immediately following, but from everything that I've heard, there is no taping of the HP Cares for it to be put on Fight to possibly draw in revenue that way for it. These are all I would plunk down $15 to pay for this on Fight. Well, not on Fight, but if Fight was worth putting money into for me, I would put money into to see this, because these are all decent matches to see. As a debut of Robert Anthony, the debut,
Yep.
I want to see that.
I wonder if, and this maybe was spoken to in the Discord already, forgive me if it was, if the cost of bringing in TV equipment and the trucks and sound and video and all that is just too much.
But if you've already got them there for the tapings right after.
Yeah, that's true. Is it at the same spot? Highland Park, Illinois.
It should be at Studio One.
Studio One, and this is being taped at.
That's at the rec center.
Yeah, I don't know how close they are to each other, but your point is
right.
Your point is taken. If they're already in town, maybe you could just swing a couple of shoulder cams over. I don't know how these things work, but yeah, hopefully there's. It sounds like a missed opportunity, and maybe there's reason why. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there you go. Let's go back to the chat real quick here. Vivian Van, Kamille could be a good matchup.
I'm not familiar with her.
Ruby Reyes. I am not either. Ruby Reyes or Viperous versus Kamille. Yep. Bowen wants Magic Jake to disappear. There's something there, man. The gimmick's not
There
right.
is. The gimmick's not right for him. Yeah. I like the bastard idea of it, but not the magic bastard. It just it doesn't come off right, I don't think. The look looks great on him. The top hat and the long trim, that looks great on him, but I don't think that's the magic is the right way to go. Maybe like a Gangs of New York type thing. Yeah,
that's true. That'd be Bill the Butcher, man. That'd be a good look, right?
Yeah.
Hey, Jeremy, Mike says, give it 2 weeks and you'll see the Highland Park matches for free, just like the pay-per-view matches we just paid $40 for.
I don't know.
I mean,
maybe. I hope so. It would make sense. That's content. At the end, you need content.
Yeah. You do, but I was kind of ragging on this in the Discord, right? Like, I cut you off, Dave. You go ahead.
Well, I mean, I believe I know what you're going to be talking about, and I definitely agree with you. But it's one of these things that anytime you have wrestling and you have a chance to record matches, that's content. It doesn't mean you have to show it, but it's back catalog. It's one of these things of down the line, if I don't know, Magic Jake makes the big time. Here's one of his matches.
I have very bad internet. I don't know if you guys can even hear me. I just wanted to say congratulations, boys. 1 solid year, man. Super proud of you guys. Very happy to have you guys on the network. I don't even know if you're hearing me. It's all frozen on my end.
Yep, we can hear you. Thank you, Jay. I'll just type the J.
But I mean, I understand what they're doing. It's for a good cause, and it's local to that area. But you're losing out if you don't record any and all content you have. Just like any and all NWA wrestlers that wrestle outside the NWA. If Robert Anthony has a match this weekend, have his match partially recorded so you can say, hey, making his debut, here's so-and-so. That you can tell a story by showing either older matches. This is how they started, and now they're here. That, I mean, look where Eli Drake is now. Loved him when he first started with the NWA. Liked him back when he was doing his dummy thing back in Impact TNA. And now, I mean, good, bad, or indifferent, people are talking about him.
Yep.
They're like, oh, well, he's a ripoff of so-and-so. Dude, everybody's a ripoff of everybody. There has not been, I'd say, more than 3 or 4 original ideas in the last 15 years.
At least.
Yeah, it's true.
So it's one of these things of, I feel any content that you can record is good, but it's up to the wrestlers that when they're outside of the NWA, hire somebody and give them $20. Hey, record my match. And most of them are savvy enough that they can go in and cut up clips and go, hey, here's my entrance. Here's a couple big moves, and here I am winning or losing or drawing, whatever. Send those in to Kyle and go, hey, Kyle, this was my title outside the NWA.
Yeah.
I mean, what did they have to lose? It's extra. It's extra. It's content. It's free. You're not paying for it.
Right. I mean, but like, I'll throw this up for Mike too, to what Jeremy said. Yeah, the NWA needs content, but premium, where we pay $40 for, $65 to this guy, by the way, $40 American, in my view, doesn't always have to be shown. Make additional content for the NWA Extra channel. Don't make people who, spend money on Fight to see it again on YouTube.
Yeah. I do agree with that 100% as well.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a pay-per-view, show maybe a highlight or something from matches, but don't turn around 2 weeks later and give it away for free to everybody.
Right. And to both of those points from you two guys to yours, like, so they did a couple things right. On the 4th of July, they didn't have Power. They had NWA USA, and they had the national champion, and they had the U.S. Tag Team Champions as the feature for that show. Perfect. It's perfect, right? But the stuff they showed, they featured Chelsea Green, Kylan King, who else?
G.
Right. Guys who are and gals who are not in the company anymore. Like that just seems, forgive me, NWA, that just seems asinine to me. Like, if you're going to feature people who aren't in the NWA, then feature guys exactly like Eli Drake. Or sorry, LA Knight, Eli Drake. Because they are hot as F right now, right?
Yep.
Or just have those, to your point and Mike's point, just have those highlights. Have EC3, have, but you're throwing the whole Thrillbilly match that I paid money for. It's been, what, a month at most since the Crockett Cup? I mean, I don't know, man. It doesn't seem right to me.
No. Again, content, you need all the content that you can get, so that way when you do have a period like now, where they're not showing anything new. They've got stuff in the can that they can pop out. You know?
Yeah.
So that way you're not showing your pay-per-view stuff. This is a perfect time for you to make sure that whenever your champions are wrestling outside of the NWA, you give them something. Here's $50. Give it to whoever and have them film your match, because we're going to use that footage on our programming whenever we don't have anything readily available, any new content. We'll use this.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong that if Scooby goes and drives 10 hours to the show, and he's got some kind of shoulder cam and he films it, and the NWA just goes to, I don't know how much these things cost. We'll give you $500 for your footage. You're going to go, sure, right? I mean, they own that stuff in the can and can put it up. I don't know how much it is again, but I mean, even that I would be, kind of excited to be able to see a clip show from there. Like Mike is saying, it's as if the NWA is afraid to make clips of past NWA stars who are in other promotions who made it bigger. Why? Use the effing algorithm and boost the NWA Extra channel. But again, if you are going to use those stars, I remember Heaves in the Discord, it said, well, like, why wouldn't you feature Eddie Kingston?
Starks,
the championship.
He just won the end. Yeah, open weight, right?
Yeah.
Ricky Starks.
Starks is getting traction over on Collision now.
As well he should. Sky Blue is getting some looks right now, right?
Yeah.
She got totally run over by Jim Cornette and on whichever one of his shows with about her RJ City interview, which I didn't think was that bad. But if you listen to it, he's like, she was just sitting there like she was empty-headed. I didn't think she was that terrible.
I don't know if Jim's watched enough of them, though. I know that I've heard Last talk about it, and he really enjoys them.
Not Starks.
Enough of them, but they're great. They're to me, they're the best content that AEW puts out, but that's just my opinion.
Right. Interesting. I would have to honestly say I've never seen an AEW event on TV.
I've only seen a handful, maybe. So I can't really talk, but I take that back. But it's the best AEW content that I've watched thus far. I enjoy it. I enjoy it more than the wrestling.
Well, RJ City's a good Toronto boy, and so you got to put him over there. Yeah, AEW is fun, and he is a witty guy. That's for sure. Mike says, I mean, WTF? Take matches and clips from the best of for the inception of Power. Yeah, I mean, I think we're all on the same page, but it's an anniversary show. We shouldn't rag on the NWA all of this time. We've had a nice good. I had a nice good rant. Thanks for letting me do that about Kamille and putting her over, and some good talk about what the NWA can do better. Willie wants to throw in that he wished the NWA would allow access to showing classic NWA matches from Mid-Atlantic, Florida, Georgia, Mid-South, Central States, Houston, and Dallas, and NWA Hollywood. They can't because they don't own it.
Yep.
Yeah, let's focus on the other lines. No, they don't own it. I've heard that Willie almost owned the NWA for a second there. That William P. Corrigan has access to some of the Houston library, but there you go. They don't own it. A lot of that stuff is owned by other people, and not just the big evil, but also other sources that aren't giving it up right now.
Yep.
But we don't always just talk NWA here. We also talk the company that is like, listen, we're going into the United Wrestling Network right now, okay? And I'm telling you guys who are watching right now, if you ever wanted to jump into a company who is doing the things the way you wish the National Wrestling Alliance might do them in the near future, or we're doing them in 2019 maybe, it's the UWN right now. And I'm talking, but I am not smart enough to actually have your video ready, so this is me extending things out. We will get into it in a segment we call Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
I don't have my notes up yet.
The following is a presentation of the United Wrestling Network.
It's time for Championship Wrestling from Jeremy.
He doesn't have his notes. I surprised him, everybody. Well, this week, this week, Derby City was the one to sit in the back seat while Championship Wrestling drove the car.
Yes. And we got match from Memphis and from Championship Wrestling presented by Car Shield. The match that I picked this week from Memphis was Colton Cage versus Austin Molitano. Molitano's from Auckland, New Zealand, and is making a name for himself in the Mid-South region right now. As I watched these two, I got the feeling that they would have been a great tag team whenever Cage was a heel. They would have made a great tag team. It was a good fundamentals match. There wasn't nothing flashy, no big high spots or anything like that. Just some good back and forth basics, keeping the action going and some crowd work. Colton delivered a nice series of offense after ducking out of the way of a running knee. And he got a 1 count. He builds up to a drop toe hold with Austin on the ropes, and Colton delivered a 901, which is 619. This stuns Austin and gives Colton enough time to climb up to the top rope to connect with a big leg lariat and get the pin for the 3. Like I said, it was a good match. Nothing flashy about it, just good basic fundamental wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And then we go to Championship Wrestling presented by Car Shield, and the match for this week that I picked was Bryce Saturn of the Final Destination versus Bateman. This match was made after Bateman was in the back talking to Johnny LaQuasto about getting a Heritage title shot, touting his past 2 TV title runs and his recent victory over Pretty Peter Avalon, and even dropping an Easter egg to Big Hunky Kev, BHK.
Which I didn't know what that meant until Dave told me this year.
Bryce Saturn comes and interrupts them and points out that the rest of Final Destination have had a shot at the Heritage title, but he hasn't. Bryce wants to have a title shot, but says Bateman has to go through him to get it, and Bateman agrees. Dustin stars on commentary this week for the show, and Dustin makes sure to say that he came all the way from Memphis just to see Bateman wrestle. Smart man. Both men have a seriousness and intensity to them in this match, showing the importance of getting even a title shot, and showing the importance of the Heritage Championship itself. Bateman, for the past handful of months, every time he has gotten camera time, has stole the show. He's doing some of the best character work, in my opinion, to date. While Bryce started out strong and it looked promising for him, Bateman was in firm control in the last minutes and finished Bryce off with the death from above.
Yeah.
So Bateman will go on to challenge BHK Kevin Martinson in the near future for the United Heritage Championship. So I'm excited for that.
It'll be a hell of a match, that's for sure. Yeah, I mean, when I was saying like now's a good time to jump in, it's not just that the wrestling's great and the production's great. It's just like the show opened in Championship Wrestling, and you had Gilbert Corsi from Derby. You had the guys from Championship Wrestling, and like I think it's Irvine where they're at right now. And then you had Dustin Starr.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, like Memphis is Danny Limelight's been over in Memphis. This is old school NWA stuff. In a modern presented way.
The main event for Memphis this past week was Danny Limelight tagging with the Gun Show Brett Michaels against the Posse.
Yeah.
And from the way that match played out and some of the little idiosyncrasies in the match, we're going to end up seeing a Gun Show versus Danny Limelight match down the road.
I certainly hope so. Here's a question. Steve asked, Jeremy, do you know if Rosas is going to reappear in UWN?
That is a great question, and I have no idea. I know that he does training, I believe, at Santino Brothers. I could be wrong on that. But I know that he does training outside of that, and he's been a mainstay with UWN for a long time, and he's helped to build up a lot of people. So he may just be doing that behind the scenes a lot more now.
Yeah, Steve also says Bateman always delivers.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
Maybe a good heritage champion too. Mike, about that match with him in it, I like the match. Bateman is extremely underrated. UWN needs to tag Jake Dumas and Bateman as a tag team they were meant to be. They started as one. Cool. That
would be really, really good.
That's Santino Brothers. Yeah, he trained Johnny Robbie.
And just to point out, like after the match, whenever he was sitting there and Saturn was on the ground, Bateman was mumbling to himself, and he did this is what you get for running your mouth. And I just chef's kiss.
Yeah, it's the exact same time.
If you're not watching, your pets don't like you.
Hey, your brother dresses you funny. Dave Marquez for president for Memphis. For Memphis this week, one guy pinned another. Mike said, "Yeah, okay." I mean, there's a lot going on, and they were all over in California. And I will add for Jeremy here, he's been working hard to get some UWN guests on the show in the near future, and we hope to have one on the broadcast very soon.
Hope.
We are in negotiations, and we have had discussions. But I mean, it's an amazing show as always. Thank you so much, my friend. Let us turn now. Wow, we've only been on the air an hour. Look at this. This is what happens when the NWA doesn't have a show. We'll go over to Dave, who's going to ask, answer some of his own. Well, he's got a question for us. Let's put it that way, in a segment that we like to call "I Respect You, Booker Man." So, Dave, you posed a question for everyone this week. Should the NWA create a monthly recap show? What do you got for us?
Well, in doing that, I mean, if you do an update or a recap show, it keeps everybody on the same playing field. You're basically reading a book and everybody is on the same page. I have a hard time remembering what I had for breakfast or if I even had breakfast. Keeping all the wrestlers and what's happening, if they did a recap show, do a 25 to 30 minute recap show, put it in place once a month of a USA, and just highlight your champions, any outside defenses that your champions may have had. That's when you use outside film that you get from your actual wrestlers. If they're outside the NWA defending, highlight that. It doesn't have to be on a regular show. Highlight it on this monthly updated show. For a while, the NWA was doing a top 10 or even a top 5. We need to know why they're there. Let us know. Do a rundown of the top 3, 5, or 10 contenders for each of your titles. There are 10 titles in the NWA.
Right.
I mean, you could do a minute on each of these, do a couple commercials, have your champions get on their phone, cut a few promos, and send them in. You'd have a 30-minute program in no time. I mean, and show clips of available video. That just figuring out who the next contender is or who's in line. That right now, if Kamille doesn't have anybody that can go against her, have her come out at the next tapings and watch all the matches of any females wrestling and see if she's willing to give anybody a second chance or if there's somebody new that can step up. It's stuff like that that can help the NWA itself plus the fans. Like I said I can't remember what I had for breakfast. If I have to go back and watch 2-3 weeks of wrestling to see what's going on, that's taking time away from me. If I can get it in 20 to 30 minutes, and I know who the top 3 women are going after Kamille, who are the top 3 tag teams going after the U.S. tag titles. Right. Okay. It's just information, and it's the quote unquote modern day way of doing it. It's in short spurts of information. Just tell me what I need to know and then move on to the next thing. So, I mean, to me, this is a no-brainer. Plus, it helps you spread out, even if you'd have one match or of your champions. Be like, and at the last pay-per-view, here's what happened with the World Tag Champions. Here's a couple clips of La Rebellion at the Crockett Cup. Boom, boom, boom. Show a couple 30-second blurbs, and you're done. But doing this highlight reel, and that's basically what it would be. It would be a highlight reel of what's been happening and what can possibly happen down the line. That they can drop in little seeds here and there to pique your interest of, oh, does Markova have a chance, or is she going after Kenzie? Who knows? But it's one of these things. Use what you have. And right now they don't have anything. They don't have matches in the can. Right. So highlight shows would be great, that they could highlight, hey, here's a couple matches of the Crockett Cup winners, Murdoch and Knox. And you go from the beginning of when Murdoch was at Power Trip in and beat the holy hell out of him in the cage. And then you tell the story. You could get easily 5 to 7 minutes out of that. Let us know the history of why is EC3 the national champion? Who did he beat? And what did he go through to get there? Let us know. I mean, it's to me, it's a no-brainer. But I don't run the NWA. But content is content. Use what you have. If you don't have any, create some by doing best of shows, highlight shows, whatever you need to do to keep people in the NWA. I was at the Crockett Cup. I've watched it over and over again, probably about 2 times. I was there live, but when you're there live and you're seeing it from one perspective. I didn't see stuff happening on the other side of the ring. I didn't see different aspects because I didn't see it. So me watching it is fine, but then I'm able to turn on YouTube and go, oh, they're showing some of these matches on YouTube already. Don't show the whole match. Use highlights.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what I would do. Whether they choose to or not, it makes it easier because, I mean, if you go to a regular taping, I know you guys haven't been to a taping. I have. It's about a 4-hour taping. If you're doing Power, you get 4, maybe 5 shows out of that, depending on how long they do. If they do a 35 to 40-minute show and then the others are 45, they can get, in one taping, they can get 4 to 5 weeks of programming. Then if they do USA, it's a 30-minute show, but it's not really a 30-minute show. You can get 7 of matches. It's to do and what to use. That if you just do some highlight reels and tell some stories of, hey, this is who your TV champion Tom Latimer has faced already. If he's going for the Magic 7, he has so many more matches to go, and these are his top 3 challengers. They may have a triple threat match to see who goes against him, but you don't know who's wrestling who. They don't have to give it away. They just need to give us clues. In my opinion, that's what should be done, but unfortunately, I don't run the NWA.
Well, not until you trios tag up with the other 2 Daves.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Make your bid. I'd be all for that. Mike agrees with you wholeheartedly, echoing the same thoughts. He also adds, the only issue I have is don't use your main NWA channel for new content or best of in those Power or USA time slots people know are for live YouTube broadcasts. So Jay had said earlier for this, that's what Surge more or less should be, Power Surge. And the way he would do it, Power should be fresh content. USA would be matches from the Smashing Pumpkins tour. Surge would be a recap show, and Billy should bring back his interview show. It's good content right there. I agree, Dave. I mean, you could make a case that you could even give up NWA USA for exactly this purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even just 1 in every 4. I don't know, but you could. Awesome. Thank you. As always, Dave, I appreciate it. And you always have good stuff. I'm convinced that someday you're going to be working there or running the place. I'm going to go back to just what's that? We're lagging a bit. Yeah. Hey, that's what something Mike said. Jeremy, may your insides churn, eating itself from the inside. Hey, that's cold. Willie wants, if you're reaching out to talent for UWN, he wants Allison Kay, Cassandra Golden on the show. Although I think his motives are suspect. I don't think the chat would be clean that day.
I would be worried about the chat that day, Willie.
Yeah, and Jade said, "Don't hold your breath." Wouldn't hold my breath for the reappearing of from Ray Roses.
Jay would know.
And Dave, we haven't asked you to smile in a while. There you go. Listen, guys, that's it. It's like our 1 year anniversary, and we finished at like 85 minutes.
Shortest show ever.
It's like 75 minutes, the shortest show ever. At the 1 year mark, maybe we're finally getting things right. I don't know. Let's talk about some social media. I whipped this one up a little bit, so it's a little bit cleaner. But Jeremy, where can they find you?
You can find me over on Twitter at HJWOTS and YouTube at Worm5559. And I want to take a moment to thank everyone that has watched us over the past year. Right before the broadcast started, I went back and looked through our timeline, and we have just over 4,000 collective total views for our 52 episodes. So thank you all very much for watching us every week.
Absolutely echo that statement. Dave, where can they find you?
They can find me at Dave Scooby on Instagram and on Twitter, and at Dave Scooby1 on TikTok. And
we'll have to add Twitter onto there.
I really, when this started a year ago, I just want to thank Jay, first of all, for putting us together. Together, we are better. Tim does a great job filling in, but I myself, I don't mind talking, but it's in short spurts. I couldn't do an hour and a half show by myself. And being able to be paired with you guys and then asked my opinion, then given a chance to talk. Hey, what do you think about this? Okay, chat. Okay, back to you. This is just enough for me to feel involved and also get some ideas across to our listeners and our family of the NWA at 75. So I'm looking forward to meeting people in real life, but I appreciate everybody that's watched us do our thing, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. Thank you for giving us your time.
Yeah, also really well said. And you guys have thanked everyone in the chat who's part of this. This is such a collaborative stuff that, like, I look forward to meeting some of these guys like you at 75 and or wherever down the road. Like, and if I go through it, I'm gonna miss some people. I'm gonna feel terrible, but like it's the media mics, it's the Willie Bowens, Steve G more recently has been up here, but we got guys who are in and out. Like Heath has been in. We got Doty. There's so many different people who have come into this, and Pollo Del Mar, for that matter, has dropped by a ton of times just to pitch in and give us little bits of information and teasing. And obviously, Jay's here and DKM's here, and sometimes we get a ton of people. Sometimes it's a little lighter, but the collaboration on all sides. Hey, it's a barbecue cookout at Jay's house. It's a collaboration on all sides from everyone in the Alliance family and the NWA fam. So there you go. And I have forgotten. Did I forget you, Mike? Oh, I thought you were saying. Here it is. The love of Jeremy's life. We did come a long way in the last year. We appreciate it. I am afraid to go back and see what we did on episode 1. I think I would be like, oh, hi. Yeah. You know, and also kind of to your point, Dave, like, I don't talk a lot in real life. I think my wife would tell you I'm relatively pretty quiet, and I talk too much out here, and I'll try to tone it down over the next year. But I get so excited doing these podcasts. You know, I look forward to it all day when it comes around, and you know, Raluca will tell you I get down here like an hour early, setting up and making notes, and I just get really jazzed to be here. So thanks, you guys. Thanks, everyone in the chat. Thanks to the Alliance. You can join the guys who really started this whole thing, J-Cal, DKM, and Jaden on the Alliance Guys podcast. That's tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And then, of course, Jay himself, the boss, Hollywood Jay, the NWJ, at 2 p.m. Pacific for the pre-party in that hour right before Power every Tuesday, when he broadcasts from the epicenter of the Alliance Wrestling family. This has been awesome. Thank you guys so much for coming. And I guess next year we start our season 2. Until then, we'll see you at the matches.
Thanks for joining the stream. This has been a presentation of Alliance-Wrestling.com. We genuinely appreciate your support. Would you consider subscribing so you'll never miss a future episode? I'd also like to remind you we do a live stream every Tuesday at 5 p.m. before NWA Power. You can find us on social media at The Alliance Blog. And until next time, we are The Alliance.